This is a 17 by 17 skeleton tower with a undroppable Skynet, making this turret tower nearly unraidable. And this is a 14 by 14 skeleton tower. Let's begin with our first skeleton tower. Now this is an 18 by 18 skeleton tower. This is the biggest on the list. I decided to go ahead and pick 3 different types that are pretty much the most common, except for the very last one. The last one is kind of my own spin off of just every single one of these just combined into one. Anyways, this first one, again, just like I said, it is an 18 by 18. It is the biggest one on this list. Now for these 3 turret towers, we are going to be doing a durability test. Then we're going to be defending it against a soaker and then a drop test. So we're going to do 3 different things for each of these towers just to see how strong that they truly are. So as you can see with this first tower, it's got a nice little Skynet area up here. I mean, it's not really a Skynet, but a nice little area for some extra turrets up there, just in case somebody does decide to go ahead and drop a soaker onto this. Now, to stop a good amount of dinos, we went ahead and put a bunch of bear traps in here, and I will say the bear traps actually really do help quite a bit. Now coming down in here is your main turret tower. Now overall, I mean, it consists of 100 turrets, each one of these towers do, but you have a nice little box in here that has your tech Jenny in there to hopefully make sure that that does not get, taken down. Now there are plenty of turrets on here. There are more techs than heavies, and overall it's not a bad turret tower at all. But yeah, let's move on to number 2. Now coming at number 2, we have our 14 by 14 turret tower. Now this one is a bit of a different spin. This one has a Skynet built into it, except for on the very top I added a little thing up there. This basically just deters all dinos from even getting stuck on the top of the tower. It instantly will just throw them off of the side, which you will see in a minute. It actually works 100% of the time, except for if you're on the corners of it. But yeah, this one also consists of 100 turrets. Now I did a different style. I put a tech Jenny in the middle, as well as a force field right there, just to kind of protect it. Now, yes, you can argue that there needs to be a box there, and yeah, I mean, I'll admit, you could put a box, but I just decided to just not, because, having a force field there is pretty overpowered. I mean, it's going to take a lot just to take that thing down. So yeah, you have a bit of a triangle layout on the roof, and this is a bit of a smaller one as well, so it's not as big as the first one. So if you're looking to save a little bit of resources, this is a pretty decent one for you. And like I said, if you drop anything on here, it instantly falls right off the sides. There is no possible way for anything to get stuck up here, making it a pretty overpowered turret tower. And then yeah, coming up top, it is the same for up here. This little tiny thing up here stops all dinos from getting stuck on the top. In fact, the only way to get a dino up on the top is if you take down all of these railings. That is the only way. So yeah, let's move on to number 1. This video is sponsored by Mitra9. Mitra9 is a kava and kratom company that makes seltzers that quite literally make you feel good. My favorite flavor is tropical. Now kava and kratom give you a similar effect to alcohol, but without the impairment. It's more like a high. Mitra9 has really helped me get through long, stressful days. Use my code Outcasts for 20% off at mitra9.com. Must be 18 or 21 in some states. Now coming at number 1, this is our 17 by 17. Now this is probably one of the best turret towers I think I've ever built. And yes, it might look a little bit funky, and I'll admit it is a little bit different. It's a different kind of style that I'm trying. Now, I have to give a shout out. His name should be on screen somewhere right here. But yeah, I kind of took a little bit of his key tips on to building a proper floating tower. That's the only thing that I didn't fully know how to do. So I did take a couple of those tips, but give an absolute shout out to that guy. Dude is awesome. Anyways, as you can see with this turret tower, it is pretty big. I mean, this thing's pretty massive. Now, these railings on the ground do help it to keep it floating and actually help with the foundations. It's basically meaning if you take down all of the foundations in the middle, this entire thing will still be standing. It is 100% floating. Now, there is a trick to how to make it float, which I'll show you guys here in a minute. And how it floats actually makes it more overpowered than you would think. So to take down this entire floating portion, you have to take down every single foundation that you're seeing. Every single one on the edges have to go. That is the only way to take this thing down, making it insanely overpowered. Now, as you'll see in a little bit in the video, we do a durability test with some C4 and rockets, and I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a bit of a pain to take this thing down. I mean, there's no easy way to just run up and just take this turret thing, the turret tower down. And then yeah, up here is your Skynet, which I'll show you here in a second. Now, this up top gets every single dino trapped, meaning that they cannot fall through. So it's honestly pretty overpowered. Now, you do have a Skynet as well up here. This Skynet blocks any dino from even getting close to this turret tower. We do have some extra turrets up here. It is above the 100 turret limit. but barely. So these turrets are kind of stopping any rockets and just random stuff from just going out to take down this top portion. Now yes, it is a little bit weak with the pillars, but I didn't really have any other way to kind of get it up here other than just with pillars. But yeah, overall it does make for a really good turret tower and a overpowered one. But yeah, so let's get on to a couple other tests that I'm going to do with these towers. So up first we have is the drop test. Now this drop test is just to kind of show you guys the pros and the cons of this turret tower. Now this first one, as you can see, with the pros are the bear traps. The bear traps are pretty overpowered. It instantly stops anybody from being able to move. So the second that something is dropped on this tower, it is instantly stuck, meaning that all of the turrets are just going to go, you know, pretty much like insane on these dinos until they are dead. Now, there's really no way to get a bear trap off of a dino while you're trying to soak it. I mean, the second that you get off of the stego, you're dead. I mean, there's no way to get these bear traps up, meaning you are stuck. So, unless you can manage to maybe barely get it through the pillars here, but even trying to get it through the pillars, it pretty much traps you every single time. Now, yes, you can walk in here, but then once you walk in, then you're stuck on another bear trap, just like that. So, yeah. It's an absolute pain. Now, there are different things that you can do to kind of help with this, like adding some railings to the top. That's what I would recommend that you do. But yeah, overall, it is pretty overpowered, and I would say against the drop test, maybe I would give it maybe a 5 out of 10. But yeah, let's move on to number 2. Alrighty, now on to the second tower. This is the drop test, and as you can see, it does kind of get stuck for a little second, and then it instantly just shoves it straight off to the side. It does this every single time on the test. I don't show you guys every single clip, of course, so that would just be too long of a video. But yeah, I kind of tested a couple of the main areas on this, and I did find one weak spot, which you'll see here in a second. But other than that, I mean, you fall off pretty much every single time on here. So as you can see, he drops down right there, instantly gets pushed into the middle, and then it will instantly push it off the side every single time. Now yes, you can fight this by using some rockets, but even the rockets are going to get shot by turrets, so it's going to be a pain. Now this is the only weak spot that I found with this, which is right here in the corner, which is why I have some bear traps there. Now that is the only weak spot here, and even as a weak spot, you're all the way in the corner. I mean, you can't even get into the middle at all. Alright, and now for the main one. Now this is the first drop test on the top. This is just to kind of show you guys of how this system works. Now this thing filters you so far away from this tower. I mean, there's no easy way to just get dropped on this. Now trying to take down that entire thing while being shot at by around 80 to 90 turrets, because let's be honest, not all the turrets are going to be shooting you up there. But just trying to get this entire top portion down is going to take so long. It's going to be such a pain just to raid. But yeah, here is, I believe, number 2 that I do. Yeah, this is on the other portion of it. Looks like a giant satellite, kind of, in a way. But yeah, anyways, this is the other portion, and as you can see, it pushes you pretty much just as far, if not a little bit closer. But yeah, it's pretty overpowered. I mean, it's going to stop the majority of dinos from even getting close to that. Now, you can, yes, I mean, whenever Aberration comes out, with the Carcinos, you can throw them on top, but you will see here in a second why that doesn't exactly work. So with this third test, I think this is the third test. Yes, it is. Now this third test, as you can see, I dropped straight onto here. Now this railing area is meant to be completely filled in, but due to FPS issues, I decided to not fill in everything because there's too many railings on this thing. I'm just going to be honest. Now, as you can see, the dino does move around in here, but it completely gets stuck and you cannot get out. You cannot do anything. You are fully stuck. Now, if you add the railings to where you have a square on every single little area, it is pretty much impossible to move. As you can see, oh, I don't think I got in here on this clip, but you cannot move. You are completely stuck. There's nothing that you can do. So your dino is instantly dead, making for a pretty overpowered turret tower. I'm not even gonna lie. So yeah, I think next up we're gonna get on to is the durability test, or we're gonna do a little soaking test just to see how these little towers actually stand up against either a stego or being dropped on top. So yeah, let's get on to that. Alrighty, so for our first test, we have 3 different stegos along with one of those flying bug things. I'm not saying its name. I always mess up saying that dude's name. Anyways, we have 3 different stegos. So each of these stegos right here, one has a primitive saddle, which is being on the left, and the one on the right has a ascendant saddle, which is about 100 armor-ish. Now we're going to send in a primitive stego and see how it does against turrets, and then we're going to send in the ascended one. Then after, we're going to drop one straight on the very top of the tower just to see how it kind of handles. Now, yes, there's no way to really test out the rocket side of this, you know, me being on top with a rocket shooting at it, so I don't do that test. But yeah, let's test this thing out and just see how it handles. Alrighty, so this first test, as you can see here, I decided to just go ahead and walk it straight into these turrets. Now this was kind of a mess up on my end, which I did fix on the final 2, Yeah, this first one I completely kind of forgot about, but yeah, that splash damage from those tech turrets instantly just kills you straight off of it, and I died. I even had infinite stats on. I had everything on, but you know, it just instantly kills you. There's really no way to do anything, and if you're in admin mode, then the turrets just don't shoot you, so kind of doesn't work out. So yeah, this is me going back, but there should be a timer on screen about now just to show you guys how long that the primitive one lasts compared to the ascendant. So again, I'm not going to skip any portion of this. It's just going to play out until it is dead, and it'll play out for that for each and every single one. But yeah, actually it's surviving longer than I thought, but it is not being shot by the main turret wall. It's just being shot by the first couple turrets. So yeah, it actually survived longer than I thought from those 4 techs. I mean, it's just with a prim saddle. But yeah, as you can see, it's still going. I'm not skipping any of this just to show you guys truly how long that this thing did take. But yeah, he was soaking for a good minute, and as you can see, he just now died. But yeah, let's move on to the ascendant one. Alright, so here's the one with the Ascendant saddle. Again, these are fully maxed out in health, all levels into health. They're completely full, and this one has an Ascendant saddle. Again, I did the same kind of like mess up on here, but I couldn't really fix it. So I had to just send it in the same way I did with the regular one. But yeah, I did fix this with these next two that you will see. But yeah, as you can see, I'm not skipping any of this. I'm going to show this entire clip until he is dead. And I'm not going to lie, he survives much longer than I thought. Again, I think he's only getting shot by 4 to 8 turrets right here, I believe, because the main one's on the wall. Don't even really touch him yet. But yeah, he survives much longer than I thought. But yeah, I'm going to speed it up a little bit here, just to kind of show you guys, but I'm not going to skip any portion of this. Alrighty, and then here is me testing it as a drop. Now it dies much quicker. Now this is one, it has a Ascendant saddle on it, but just to show you guys how overpowered that this really is. I mean, it does soak a decent amount, but that top portion completely stops the majority of the main turrets from even shooting. So the main turrets really aren't even shooting. I mean, yeah, a couple of them are, but not as many as you would think. But yeah, he's just soaking that top portion. It still is a pretty overpowered tower, but keep in mind, this is with an Ascendant saddle with no UD buff. There's no buff on him, so he does soak a decent amount, I'm not gonna lie, but he still dies pretty quick. So yeah, I think this is definitely the weakest out of the 3. So yeah, as you can see, he's still going. Shockingly, I don't know how he is still alive. But yeah, he takes some good hits, and again, he has about 60,000-ish health, so it's not like too overpowered. But yeah, just like that, he's dead. Alrighty, so now we are on to the second turret tower, my bad, not wall. And anyways, I did a little bit of a different test. I used a command where the turrets aren't going to shoot me, and this is with a prim. So yeah, seeing how much quicker that he died, but however, he wasn't being shot by all turrets on the first one. So yeah, that was the first one. Now let's move on to this second one. Alrighty, now here is the second stego. This is the one with the Ascendant saddle, the exact same style. I'm just going to send him in, and let's see how long that he survives. So yeah, as you can see, many more turrets are shooting at him. There's no blind spots. I mean, all the turrets are shooting pretty well. I mean, he does kind of get stuck right there, but as you can see, the majority of the turrets are shooting, and just like that, he is dead. Alrighty, now here is the drop test on top for soaking. Let's see how much that he does soak. Now I should hop off here in a second. I'm just going to kind of show you guys a closer up look. Now this is one with an Ascendant saddle, and as you can see, works perfectly. It pushes him right off the side, straight to the side right here. And as you can see, I mean, he's pretty much stuck right there. So if you are a player on that stego, you're just going to get caught right there. And the only way in is just kind of take down those double door frames. And just like that, yeah, he is dead. Alrighty, so moving on to our third and final tower. This is the primitive stego. Let's see how long that he can survive. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, I would say this is probably the most overpowered skeleton tower I think I've ever built. Anyways, let's move on to the Ascendant. Alrighty, now here is the Ascendant stego going in. Again, full health, about 60,000. These are all pretty much identical stegos. So anyways, yeah, let's see how long that he can survive this. I mean, he's being shot a good amount. Now there's one little downside here. It is a bit of a weak spot. Some of the turrets do stop shooting. However, he's already dead. That's with an Ascendant saddle too, guys. I mean, that's pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible how many of these turrets are shooting. I mean, if you look at all the turrets, they are all moved. So every single one of these turrets was shooting at that stego. And finally, we're going to do the final drop test. So for this one, I got a little bit closer with the camera. As you can see, straight up on the top right here, he does get stuck for like about a second. Then he instantly gets pushed off the side. And again, this is with a Ascendant saddle. Now he is facing backwards, so he does take a little bit more hits, because you know all the hits are not being taken straight from the front. But yeah, and he's not being shot by every single turret on that turret tower, but still a good amount of them are shooting him. So he does survive a decent amount longer. However, he's not soaking as many, as you can see. I mean, he's still alive, but look, the majority of them on the main turret tower aren't even really shooting him. It's just the ones on the sides and the ones that are on the ground. So yeah, he does survive a little bit longer, but again, not soaking all of them. I mean, his health is still dropping pretty quickly. So yeah, and again, that is with a Ascendant saddle. So yeah, not terrible at all. I think I'm going to have to rate this one a solid 9 out of 10 only for the blind spots and for the weakness of the Skynet. That's the only downside with this turret tower so far. But yeah, not bad at all. He's still going. Honestly shocked he's not dead yet. Should be dead any second now. Yep, there he goes. All right, next up is the durability test. So as you can see right here with the first turret tower, I mean, this is the biggest one. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do a durability test on this one. As you can see, those 3 foundations, well, not 3, but the main foundations in the middle are gone. And as you can see, it is still standing, still going strong. Yeah, so the weakest part up here is the Skynet right up here, which as you will see, takes a good amount of damage from 1c4. So yeah, 1c4 does take that down pretty quick. Now, I didn't mean to put double doors in here. I forgot to do that. It's up to you if you want to do that or not. But for the durability test, I highly recommend it. Because as you can see, these pillars do not hold up very well. Now, with the double doors, it's basically a second layer of C4 or rockets that you're going to have to use just to take this thing down. This wreckage is the most annoying thing ever. I wish that they could hurry up and fix that. But yeah, anyways, so as you can see, with these last 3 that are still standing, all it takes is a little bit C4 and it is gone. So that is why I ranked it at a 9 out of 10, which does kind of make sense. I mean, that weakens the tower a good amount. I mean, it's still really strong, but it does weaken it a pretty good amount. Alrighty, so this is the second one, which is the 14 by 14. And as you can see, this thing does hold up pretty well. Now, I did skip ahead. Now, this is just demoing the bottom portion right here. As you can see, it is still completely standing after even the bottom portion is taken down, making it pretty overpowered. Now, what's holding this up is the railings. There are, I believe, 9 railings that are holding this up. Actually, no, there's a little bit more. I think there's 12. So there's 12 different areas up top that are still holding everything up. And as you can see, even with the foundations gone, it's still standing strong. It's still working pretty strong. And having the main tech Jenny higher up honestly means that it's not going to get taken down unless you soak it or you take it down from the top, making for a pretty overpowered turret tower. Alrighty, so now moving on to the last and final one, which is the first turret tower, or the 18 by 18. As you can see at the very bottom, I demoed all of the pillars, all of the double doors, and this thing is still standing strong. Now, there's a bit of a weak side up here, which is these pillars. However, if you just place, honestly, a couple more layers, or even just with the railings, it'll help double how strong that this thing is up on the top portion. But yeah, anyways, so in this video, I'm not going to teach you guys how to build it step by step. However, we're just kind of showing off the durability of these towers, how they work, how they handle up to soakers. And yeah, overall, all 3 of them do handle pretty well. You know, some being better than others, like the floating turret tower or the skeleton tower holds up the best in my opinion. But yeah, as you can see right here, it takes down the entire thing just from those pillars. That is the only downside with that one. So I would have to rate this one a solid 5 out of 10. I'm going to rate the second one a solid 7.5 out of 10. And then that final one, I would give it a solid 9 or 9.5 out of 10. Just for the durability, you know, everything else on here. As you can see, I decided to go ahead and spell out sub. That's something that you guys should do. Go down below, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, let's move on to the final portion of this video. Alright, so moving back over to the final tower, as you can see, this is how this entire thing is being held up, is with these cellar doors. I tried to claim them back, but the game isn't working, like usual. Anyways, I'll show you guys how to build this and how to essentially get the same kind of floating style that it looks like on here. But yeah, it is just using tech cellar doors. So let's go over here and build a little layout just so I can show you guys how that works. Alrighty, so as you can see here, I decided to go ahead and build a little bit of a foundation base right here, as well as some double doors. Now, to get this illusion to work, you have to use the cellar doors and just simply build out like this. Now, if you build out like this for an entire skeleton tower, it makes for honestly one of the most overpowered things. I mean, the only way to take this down is to take down every single one of these cellar doors. That is the only way to take this thing down. So yeah, simply go up to them and set them as the auto close to never. And once you go up to them and they open, they will never close, meaning they are invisible. Rockets cannot damage them unless it takes splash damage. That's the only way to take them down. And C4 cannot damage them as well, as it falls straight through it. So yeah, these make for a pretty overpowered, simple, honestly pretty simple floating little illusion. But yeah, as you can see, it's completely floating now. It's simple as that, and if you just do it around in a circle, you can build a floating turret tower. So yeah, a bit of a nice little illusion. So yeah, that's simply how you do that. Now let's move on to show you guys how to do the floating turrets. Alrighty, now for the floating turret effect, as you can see here, all it takes is just some thatch and some double doors. So you simply need to just set up every spot where you want a turret. So for example, go ahead and do this as I do here. Just put the turret straight down on the thatch. Once they are all placed down, I couldn't get them to place down here for some reason, I don't know why. But once they are all placed down, simply just replace it with some double doors and it should look something like that. It's a simple little trick to make your turrets float. But yeah, that's it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy and peace out.